Hi there, welcome to my channel.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Nursing with Ingrid. Thank you so very much for stopping by yet once again, and thank you very much for your patience. I know that I haven't been on the platform for quite some time. That is a topic for another day when I feel ready to come out and tell you exactly what has been going on in my life. But for now, we are going to be discussing, as you can see by the title, community service, better known as comserv. We are going to be discussing what community service is, how it's come about, and how it affects you as a professional that is newly qualified. So let's start from the beginning. When did comserv come into the picture? Comserv came into the picture when we migrated from, when I say we, I mean South Africa. When South Africa migrated into an open country where all sanctions were lifted against the country because of the change in the regime of government that we had. So with that happening, what has happened is that you find that at that point, if you look back, you will see that there was a mass exodus of qualified health professionals that went to countries like New Zealand, to Ireland, to the UK, to Saudi Arabia, to Germany, to Australia, all of those countries, to find a better job and to find better fulfillment outside of South Africa. That also came along with the fear that people had with the change of government at that point. So people were more or less fleeing, and they were fleeing with all their knowledge and skills and going into other countries where they could settle down and build a life anew. So what the government decided to do was to come up with this idea, or with this this method or this strategy to hold healthcare professionals in the country for at least 1 year to service the areas that have been direly lacking with healthcare, with regards to healthcare. So the government came up with this idea of doing community service after whichever course you had done. That was purely in the hope that we could retain staff, that the areas that needed servicing with healthcare workers were actually being serviced. And if you look at it, every year there's a group of graduates that come out of medical school, of nursing school, of clinical technologists, of physiotherapists, you name it. Now, in order for everybody to get a benefit out of the trained staff that have currently just completed their qualifications, that's where comserv came into the picture, where they had taken everybody that had graduated that year, that had passed and were now professionals. They held back their certification and their accreditation to their respective bodies by allowing them to do community service. So that community service was a year-long program. In that, you've got to think of it in the sense of when you were a student, right? You were always governed by somebody more senior to you. Now that you've qualified, you've passed your theoretical exams, you've passed your OSCEs, you've passed whatever needed to be completed in order for you to successfully complete your program, whichever one it is. So what they did was they decided to outsource everybody that had qualified and withheld their registration to the date that they completed their comserv. So what that means is that you worked for a full year in your full capacity as a registered nurse, as a physiotherapist, as a medical doctor. You worked in your full capacity. However, you were placed in areas that were in need of medical staffing. So that is where this community service idea came into fruition and what it is today. So you were given 3 options. First and foremostly, you're given 3 options of where you would like to go, and that is either in the city but outskirts, and either in the very rural areas. And that was just to make us as professionals more aware of what is out there and to work within the constraints of limited resources, limited staffing, limited everything, limited structure, you name it. Those are all the things that have been a deterrent, should I say, that have been a deterrent from the previous like my generation, it was a deterrent for us to go into a rural area and work there. That wasn't what we desired, or that's not what we envisioned. So with the introduction of the comserv, that is what it actually did. It put you out there in all spheres, in all areas, rural, sub-rural, depending on how your province has been designated and segregated. That's where you will go and you will work. And that is a very crucial point in your training, because that solidifies everything that you've learned in theory and now putting it into practice. Also being able to show yourself, or to prove to yourself that you can make it against all odds, against the fact that there's no equipment, there's no updated equipment, that there's no linen, that there is no proper health screening. All of those things are taken into consideration, and as you come out of your comserv, you are coming out with solid experience for that whole 1 year. And then after that 1 year, then you are gracefully graduated, and you are gracefully certified and registered as a healthcare professional. So for me, my advice to you that are going into comserv this year, I know that this video is a little bit late at this point. However, I do apologize, but I did promise one of my subscribers that I will do a video of this sort. So what you need to do is you need to take the opportunity that has been granted to you to work as best as you can within the environment that you are in. And that way you learn to find your autonomy, you learn to find your voice as a nurse professional, as a patient's advocate as well. And please guys, I'm begging you, once you go into your comserv, it is the time that you are getting all those very rich nuggets of information, of experience that you will never get anywhere else if you were in the city center. Because in the rural areas and in the areas that are not so well serviced by healthcare professionals, you find that there's such dire need in that area. And mind you, you find that some people, once they've done their comserv in that particular area, they choose to stay there because of the camaraderie that you get with your patients. You get to know your patients, you get to know their household, you get to know their living circumstances, and all those wonderful things. So I would like to implore you to go into your comserv here with a positive attitude, with a can-do attitude, with the attitude of I'm here to learn the best there is that I can learn before I get my solid accredited qualification. And that will do you a whole lot of good at the end of the day. So with that, if there's any more information and you want to deep dive into the experiences of nurses that have come out of community service, please go and check out Jodene Siydow's channel. She does a very beautiful breakdown of her experience in comserv. So please go out there and support a fellow nurse and support your future colleague if you are coming into the nursing space or the medical space for that matter. I hope this answers your question. Please take care. God bless. Goodbye.